In the not so distant past, Peugeot offered a range of cars that kind of felt uninspiring, unimaginative, and also uncool. But unlike the hit ABBA classic Waterloo, the history books aren't always repeating themselves. Because the Peugeot lineup has never looked better, and with the 3008, it is yet another standout contender in its market classification. Now, it might not have the same gravitas as the legendary 205 GTI, but with models like this, it feels like this is a brand new and almost Peugeot's best ever era. From the 308 to the 408, 3008 to the sporty 208, the Peugeot range has had a complete overhaul. Good looks, a strong identity, and now they're cool. And the Peugeot 3008 hits exactly all those points. First, its design. We see the new Peugeot branding front and centre on this very on-brand front grille. This styling is seen across their entire range, no matter if it's the small 208 or the large 3008. We get this same sort of identity, and it kind of feels like a design in two halves, because ultimately it looks modern, it looks premium with the body colour on that front grille and all the different segments around it, but it still looks like a front grille of old. This isn't a rather spaceship looking machine. It isn't just a massive piece of plastic that modern cars seem to love. It has that essence of being a rather retro feel front grille. I'm not saying that this looks old school by any stretch of the means. It still looks very new for 2025. But I just think everything about it is rather capturing Peugeot's new era, because with them LED headlight design, again seen across the range, the front grille, different segments in the front bumper, it makes for a rather unique looking car, but it has that signature identity. And I feel like designers of the new Peugeot range have really pulled out all the stops, because every different segment on the exterior design just all comes together perfectly. You get 18-inch alloy wheels from standard, go for the top spec, and they go up to 20 inches, but still design across the whole alloy wheel range. Still links in perfectly with not only the exterior look, but also what's on the interior. Its dimensions sit it perfectly in the mid-size SUV category, but with its sleek silhouette, it has a fastback edge to it. And this rather bold, premium and ferocious looking design only personifies the progress that Peugeot have made. Because 15 years ago, the 3008 used to look like this, which, to put it politely, snooze fest. Whereas this is the polar opposite. Depending on your spec, you can get hands-free tailgate to reveal 588 litres of boot capacity. So despite its dimensions fitting it in the mid-size SUV category, its storage and practicality almost feels that of a large SUV, because the interior kind of feels like the Royal Mail, and it delivers a first-class service. Because look at this. Who would have thought 15 years ago that Peugeot could make something that feels this premium, this high-end? And this isn't just because I'm in almost their flagship model. This isn't because I'm just in the top spec. This is seen across their entire range. It's why I personally think that the Peugeot interiors are arguably pound for pound the best on the current UK car market. Is why I actually own a 208 GT. I think they're brilliant. I think the main reason why I love this interior so much, and also its Peugeot counterparts, is the fact that it doesn't lose essence of being the car. It has all the modern quirks, it feels premium, but also practicality is at the forefront of Peugeot's thoughts. Because yes, you get this rather high-tech and spaceship-looking 21-inch panoramic display. You also get a separate screen down here, but ultimately, that is just shortcut buttons, where normally you just have a panel with different buttons. They've gone, why not make it more modern, but still keep the practicality to a T? And I just think the layout is perfectly displayed. Even like your start, stop, your automatic gear selector on your dash. You have a wireless phone charger, which is perfectly covered on this rather unique L-shaped instrument panel. Drive mode selector, different volume controls, although you can change it on your steering wheel. Shortcuts for your demister for the front and rear window, and also just to toggle your climate on and off. You get plenty of storage in this centre console. A nice little pocket down here, 2 cup holders, and a massive pocket in your centre console. But what I just love most is the different segments. They've not just put a dashboard that goes straight across. They've put a bit of design to it. This control panel is angled towards the driver, same with the infotainment screen. You have that checkered design which is seen on the front grille. Again, all brings it together. sports style seats with different suede, leather patterns. It just looks brilliant. The only thing that people might be a bit wary of when stepping into a Peugeot is the size of the steering wheel, because this steering wheel is kind of the exact same size as what you'd find on a 208, a small hatchback. So being in a car this size, having this size steering wheel, kind of feels strange at first, but it does give that rather sporty essence when you're out on the road. The only other thing is it slightly blocks your digital dash. Now, that's not necessarily that big of an issue because you can move it wherever you want. Plenty of adjustable nature in that steering wheel. Everything feels like it's well built, everything's sturdy, everything feels rigid. There's no scratchy plastics at all. There's a little bit on your dashboard by your air vents, but is that really any issue at all? I don't think it is. You could easily have just put plastic down here or on the sides, but it's nice padded fabrics all in the centre console, the seats. It just screams high end, and it almost makes you question, is this even a Peugeot anymore? You get keyless entry, reversing camera, an air purifier, wireless phone connectivity, ambient lighting, wireless phone charger, remote services via the Peugeot app, all from the base spec, so it won't necessarily burn a hole in your pocket. Because prices for the 3008 start at just under 38,000 with the hybrid Allure and go all the way up to just over 54. So you're probably thinking base spec 38, top spec 54, what's gone on in between? Well, that's because there's a lot of confusion around the 3008 when it comes to its spec levels, because you get 3 trims, 4 if you include the launch edition, and 5 powertrain options. You get a hybrid, plug-in hybrid, or 2 battery size options in an electric powertrain, and even a dual motor system. And with them 2 electric powertrains, you get 2 battery size options, 73 or 97 kilowatt hour, offering 325 or 434 miles of pure electric driving respectively. Both offer ultra fast charging, so practicality is again there in its foremost form, because up to 434 miles of electric range is on the higher end. Now, yes, if you opt for the 3008 with that bigger battery extended range, then you're kind of going to be paying for it. But with this looks, this amount of practicality and all the tech you get out on the road, I still think it's a fair price. And despite them different powertrains, despite all them different price points, you're not being punished no matter what spec level or powertrain you choose. Because across all specs, I feel like the performance and driving experience really suits the style of this car. It's a premium looking SUV which can come as a hybrid, plug-in hybrid or electric to suit your driving needs. And the performance stats are adequate enough. You get a 0 to 60 from 10.2 on the hybrid all the way up to 8.7 on the larger battery electric. And with them hybrid and plug-in hybrids that come with electric motor, then you're going to get that slightly heightened torque and pull off the line that you would with a regular combustion engine SUV. So yeah, it's not going to win any awards for being high performing. It's not going to win any awards by being the fastest mid-size SUV in its category. But what it will do is provide a safe, enjoyable, and also pleasure in driving experience, because you feel quite high up on the road, but the way it handles corners, it doesn't feel like it's a heavy car. I think that's massively helped by the size of the steering wheel, because it does give that bit of sporty edge. But with the likes of lane keep assist, hill start assist, reversing cameras, cruise control all come from the base spec, then you're not really going to lose out depending on what spec you get. Obviously, if you go for the GT or the GT Premium being the top spec, you're going to get the likes of 360 parking cameras, adaptive cruise control with stop and go, and also some nice little touches on the interior. So base spec, top spec, hybrid or electric, you're going to get a driving experience that you're not going to regret. You're not going to regret buying this car, because with the plug-in hybrid, it offers so much practicality with that electric motor, allowing for 52 miles of pure electric driving. In this center console, you do have your drive mode selector. Now these are eco, normal and sport, pretty standard stuff. You put it in sport and you do get a bit more zip off the line. It does feel that a bit more heightened. The steering kind of feels a bit tighter, and it does just give off that sporty prowess that a lot of the design kind of throws in your face. So everything about this just feels premium, it feels fine-tuned, and it just feels like a showcase. I mean, 10-15 years ago, if you brought a Peugeot, you were kind of buying it for its affordable nature. You wouldn't necessarily opt for one. Now, I'm not there to say that Peugeot has been a terrible brand. They have a very rich history. I mean, if you look back to the 205 GTI, it was kind of the hot hatch to get. It was one of the most cult hero type cars. It had a legendary presence. But the rest of the range, going into the noughties to the 2010s, was kind of playing it safe. It was a type of car that did what it needed to, but it didn't have any pizzazz. It didn't have any forward-thinking nature. Now, polar opposite. The entire range, 208, 308, 408, the list goes on, all have an identity, all look brilliant, and all still feel premium. So then, there you have it, the Peugeot 3008, a mid-size SUV which offers flexibility, practicality, and above most, a rather premium feel, not just from its exterior look, but also that interior. It's got to be pound for pound one of the best for its price point. And I just think this perfectly wraps up the Peugeot lineup, which has constantly been evolving and upgrading over the last 10-15 years. And if you want to book a test drive or find out anything more about the 3008, then contact your nearest Perry's Peugeot dealership.